Rub al-Khali, also known as the Empty Quarter, is a desert located on the Arabian Peninsula. It is famous for being the world's largest sand desert, with endless red sand dunes, some reaching up to 250 meters high. Accompanied by scorching heat that burns skin and flesh, life barely exists here. However, in return, Rub al-Khali is a place with abundant oil reserves. But that is not all. Al-Khali is also famous for humanity. Recent archaeological discoveries have found many clues about a lost city. It possessed more modern technology than even today. This mysterious city is also called Atlantis in the sand. The story began in the autumn of 1930. The legendary British explorer, Bertrand Thomas, began his historic journey. His goal was to try to become the first European to cross Rub al-Khali, a vast wilderness stretching across several countries such as Saudi Arabia, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. With extremely harsh natural conditions, no one from the West had ever been able to conquer this place. Therefore, on October 6, 1930, he departed from Salalah on the coast of Oman with 25 guides who were nomadic people, to begin his historic attempt. For the next 59 days, no one saw Thomas or had any news about him. Thomas deliberately cut off communication with the government and did not receive any assistance for his adventure. Finally, on February 5, 1931, Thomas appeared in Doha, Qatar. He was completely healthy, without any injuries on his body. Thomas returned with incredible trophies taken from the desert. Along the way, he collected over 400 natural history specimens. Among them were fossils of 21 animal species never before recorded in Western scientific dictionaries. However, natural history specimens were not all that Thomas brought back from the desert. He brought back something more valuable than all those specimens. It was a story. During his journey, he witnessed something truly unbelievable. A nomadic guide told him a story passed down through generations. The story of an ancient city lost in the desert, hidden deep beneath the sand. According to the guide, it was a magnificent city. Our ancestors said that it existed from very ancient times. A wealthy city with date palm gardens and a fortress made of silver. And now it lies beneath the sand. However, according to weather forecasts, a sandstorm from the north would arrive in the coming days. Therefore, they had to quickly cross the desert. Thomas did not have enough time to search for that city. He recorded all the clues in his diary. With those mysterious and vague pieces of information, it sparked the curiosity of Western archaeologists. They began researching and trying to find information about a city buried in the past. After many efforts, they found some reliable evidence. In the Quran, there is mention of an ancient tribe, the tribe of Ad. The tribe lived in a city with magnificent towers called Aram. Ad was a tribe that existed on the Arabian Peninsula after the Great Flood. There, they built a powerful kingdom. They used their immense wealth and expertise to build towering fortresses, to assert their power and status against neighboring rivals. Even, the Ad tribe launched wars to conquer many other tribes on the peninsula. Also, according to the Quran, during the prosperous period of Aram, the king was a tyrant. The people of Aram were also arrogant, considering themselves supreme, looking down on other peoples and oppressing them. Because of this, Allah sent the Prophet Hud to warn the people of Aram to abandon the evil paths they were following. But because they had become too deluded, they did not heed Hud's advice. Finally, the people of Ad saw a cloud forming and approaching Haran. They rejoiced, thinking that this was a cloud bringing rain to us, providing us with blessings. But Hut told them no, it was a violent wind carrying painful punishment. Not rain, but these clouds would bring a sandstorm. And as a result, a 7-day and 7-night sandstorm buried Haran. Thus, they never existed. Additionally, in the Book of 1001 Nights, the famous work of Eastern legends and myths, also mentions a story that attracts special attention. The story of a man named Endul Calabar, who ventured into the desert to find his lost camel. Then, he discovered a strange deserted city. Calabar recounted, while venturing deep into the desert, I suddenly discovered 2 large gates, inlaid with all kinds of jewelry and precious gems in full colors. I was extremely surprised that such a wonder appeared in this desolate desert. Then, I stepped through the gate with a mix of joy and fear. I was truly overwhelmed when before my eyes were magnificent towers. All were built with gold and silver and inlaid with precious jewelry, including pearls. Moreover, from the palaces looking down, I saw blue rivers flowing. At the feet and along the streets were rows of tall trees laden with fruit. So, I told myself, without a doubt, this is the paradise of the world. After returning, Abdullah immediately sought to inform the local authorities of his astonishing discovery, describing in detail the wonders he had seen, and even showed them some pearls and a musk ball he took from the city. The officials were amazed by the story, but they were also very skeptical of its authenticity. Therefore, the authorities summoned an expert in the field and asked him if he had ever heard of such a magnificent city. He immediately replied, "Yes, my commander. What you mentioned is the city of Haran with its decorated and firmly set pillars. That kind of tower was never built in other lands, and the builder was Sada, son of the Grid." As confirmation, the local authorities believed Abdullah. They planned to go to that heavenly city, but unfortunately, in the vast desert, Abdullah had forgotten the city's location, and they did not find it. With the above evidence, it was still not enough to satisfy the scientists' curiosity, because what they needed was authentic evidence to find Haran. For many years, even centuries later, scholars asserted that the legendary lost city of Haran was not real, but rather a product of fictional religious allegories. Until the 1970s, a historic discovery completely changed those perceptions. In 1964, a scientist from the University of Rome, named Paolo Mattiac, launched a large-scale excavation campaign in northern Syria, an area called Marduk. In the first few years, Mattiac and his team did not achieve many results in this area, only recovering a few pottery fragments, which did not discourage them. They continued digging diligently, and every effort was rewarded. Finally, in 1968, there was a breakthrough they had been waiting for. They discovered a statue dedicated to the goddess Esther, on which was an ancient inscription with the content, Idbidlam, king of Elba. This was a fantastic discovery. Elba is the name of a city mentioned in the texts of the ancient Akkadians, Sumerians, and Arcadians. But before that, no one had truly known of it. Realizing the importance of this discovery, Mattiac and his team focused on excavating the site. They discovered many temples, walls, gates, and other impressive buildings that once made up the city of Elba. However, that was not all. What happened next would overshadow everything they had found before. In 1974, Mattiac and his team were clearing debris from an ancient palace. They discovered 42 clay tablets, which appeared to be a type of document stored in the palace. This meant that when they collected enough of these documents, the blank parts of history would be decoded. It recreated an entire ancient civilization spanning thousands of years. Subsequently, as predicted, they found thousands of such clay tablets stored neatly on shelves that had collapsed in a disaster. There were about 17,000 tablets and fragments in total, shedding light on a treasure trove of information about the city of Elba and its surrounding areas at that time. After decoding, they found astonishing information. It was a document containing information about Elba's neighboring countries and trading partners, including Damascus, Gaza, Byblos, Lebanon, and the Canaanites. This provided crucial historical information about the ancient kingdoms and civilizations that humanity has always sought. According to scientists, it was one of the most important discoveries of the 20th century. When studying the historical records of Elba's neighboring countries and trading partners more closely, they discovered a special location that startled scientists, the city of Iran. The documents described Iran as a city of towers, which coincidentally matched the description of Iran in the Quran and the palace with tall pillars in 1001 Nights. With that discovery, scientists proved that the city of Iran truly existed. So the question arose, if there is evidence that Iran existed, where is it now? What happened to it? Elba was also once a lost city. Now that it has been found, can we do the same for Iran? Don't take your eyes off the screen. Keep watching the video to find the right answer with shadow_archives. Oil Development Company was tasked with conducting a survey in the vast empty quarter area of the country. As they approached the sheep oasis, the workers noticed a large white cliff in the distance. But upon getting closer, they realized it wasn't a cliff at all, but the wall of a ruined fortress atop a limestone cave. The area around this fortress was completely deserted, making the geologists wonder if this was the residential center that built the fortress and what had happened to it. But because they lacked modern archaeological equipment and were more interested in finding oil, the survey team did not pursue the question of the fortress further, simply recording it and moving on. During Bertram Thomas's journey when he stopped at the Sears Oasis, he only noted in his diary that there was a crude fortress at this location, then quickly left without exploring the mystery of this strange fortress further, which was a pity. Thus, for the next 40 years, the mystery remained buried in the desert. Until one day in the early 1980s, Nicholas Clapp, a writer, filmmaker, and amateur archaeologist, came up with a crazy idea that shook the archaeological world. Clapp called the NASA laboratory in Pasadena, California, a place famous for its satellite radar images worldwide, to ask for their help. It was a crazy idea because NASA receives thousands of calls daily from obscure figures like him, with vague information about a city buried under the sand like a legend. Many claimed NASA would never get involved to help him, but miraculously, perhaps due to his persistence and determination, Clapp convinced the scientists at NASA. Afterward, they quickly proceeded to scan Rupankali with a special radar system capable of detecting geological sites beneath the sand surface. After obtaining an overview image of the geological layers beneath Rupankali, Clapp made an astonishing discovery. It was a vast network of ancient trade routes hidden under the sand. Clapp believed these ancient trade routes were the key to unlocking the mystery of a lost city. He speculated that the convergence point of these routes would be an ancient residential center, a bustling trade hub. Upon closer observation, Clapp noticed that many of the ancient roads converged at one place, the Sheep Oasis. Armed with this information, Clapp enlisted the help of an American archaeologist named Sir Ed Searle and a British explorer named Sir Renup. Together, they went to the Sheep Oasis to search for clues. First, they confirmed what the locals had told Bertram Thomas, that the fortress of sheep was only a few hundred years old was accurate. because this fortress was built on the ruins of something much older. When they began excavating, they discovered the remnants of a large ancient settlement. Notably, they dated back nearly 5,000 years. At the center of this ancient settlement was a massive and solemn fortress, surrounded by 7 to 8 walls, each about 5 meters high and 600 meters long. At each corner of the fortress was a large tower. From observation, what they found resembled a king's palace. As they continued excavating, they realized that the city seemed to have been built atop a huge limestone cave. Ultimately, the heavy winds of the city, along with a super sandstorm, caused it to collapse into a deep sinkhole and be buried in the desert. Archaeologists had to admit that parts of the city had vanished into this giant sinkhole and would be buried forever. As for Nicholas Clapp, no further exploration was needed. He spoke with regret. Clapp believed the mystery had been solved. That this was a powerful ancient economic center, marked by towering structures. They were built with advanced technologies for their time. In the end, the city was destroyed by a super sandstorm and buried forever. With such a modernly described city, can we believe that the city of Iran was not created by humans? Could this be a city built by some non-human force? If so, then these beings must have been superior to humans in physicality, intellect, and technology. So what is this force? Which species is the true master that built this dream city? The story continues in 2004, with a neurologist and amateur scholar named Abdullah Ansay. Exploring the mysteries of the lava fields in HAERADKAI-3. Accidentally discovered an unusually shaped number 3 structure, formed by a stone wall about 1 meter high and 10 meters long. Although very strange, he thought this was just a coincidental occurrence. Not until 2008, when Industry 4.0 technology was beginning to develop strongly, in which Google Earth tool was widely used to observe locations from above. Ansay was very curious about the strange structures he had accidentally discovered several years earlier. So he used Google Earth to observe these structures more closely. He was angry with himself because there weren't just 1, 2, or 3, but hundreds of strange structures scattered across a large area. As he described, I was truly dizzy and couldn't sleep that night. I flew like a bird all over Herod, from one mysterious structure to another. Realizing these structures would require deeper, more professional inspection, Ansay sent the photos he obtained from Google Earth to David Kennedy, an archaeologist from the University of West, a man who spent 40 years recording stone architectural works and funeral monuments on the Arabian Peninsula. Throughout the next decade, Kennedy searched and recorded these stone structures and issued a report in 2017. The report indicated that he and his team had discovered about 400 structures stretching thousands of kilometers. Despite having many years of experience, Kennedy was still confused about the true purpose of these giant structures. According to him, they didn't look like structures where humans could live, nor like animal traps, or even tombs. It was a mystery about its purpose of use. By 2021, the mystery gradually unfolded when researchers reported finding 1,000 structures they were calling stone markers over an area of nearly 100,000 square kilometers. Even more astonishing, archaeologists determined the age of this structure to be over 7,000 years old, even older than Stonehenge. The more stone markers they found, the more confused archaeologists became. They wondered what these structures were for, and why were some clearly visible while others seemed obscured. Moreover, how could ancient people communicate with each other how to build these great architectural works over such thousands of kilometers distances? And how could they build some on mountain slopes and volcanoes? To answer those questions, let's examine the giant stone circle found in Kangyuan, Golan in 2015, revealed to be the same age as Stonehenge. This is a 5-circle structure made of giant stones with heights from 2 to 3 meters. In pre-Jewish times, it was called the Wheel of Giants. Such circular structures were also found throughout the region. All appeared to look the same. That wasn't a random coincidence. Let's further examine the ancient Avenue of Honor discovered in 2022. It stretches thousands of miles across the Arabian Peninsula. That was an ancient corridor connecting oases and grasslands, lined with thousands of aerial monuments. What ancient civilization could create such ancient superhighways stretching thousands of miles? I'm sure it wasn't. A reasonable explanation is that these giant stone structures, two buried Iranian cities, and the wide roads discovered on the Arabian Peninsula were all built by large and powerful individuals. Large enough to uproot trees with bare hands and carve mountains into homes. Only a giant stature allowed them to build such great works in deserts, on mountain slopes, even in lava fields. They were described as the Nephilim in the book of Genesis. Nephilim are mysterious creatures with giant size and strength, hybrids of humans and sons of God. The giants were so large that, when they were present, humans became as small as grasshoppers. Nephilim were a race of giants who specialized in doing evil deeds. They were one of the main reasons for Noah's great flood. According to the book of Genesis, God said, "Now I see that human wickedness is too great on the earth." Every human mind was constantly obsessed with evil, sinful thoughts. God regretted having created humans on the earth. His heart was grieved and sorrowful, therefore God said, "I will wipe out humanity. I created humans, animals, reptiles, and birds flying in the sky on earth. I regret having created them." And the giants and Iranian city disappeared since then. From these traces, we cannot 100% confirm whether the above structures were created by giants or not. But one thing can be confirmed is that some mysterious force once existed on our Earth. They possessed advanced technologies that we cannot imagine. And in fact, archaeologists have also found many traces proving the existence of giants. And what reliable traces I have, we will analyze in the following videos.